The purpose of this video is to talk about operations with integers, um, operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We'll probably only get into division a little bit today, or on this video at least. If you remember, integers have this weird symbol. Sometimes the cross is there, sometimes it's not. They look like this, a set of integers. The three dots mean that it keeps going in the same pattern, so -4, -5, so on would also be integers, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. One way to describe the integers is it's a set of natural numbers plus the number 0 and then all the opposites of the natural numbers. So we're going to talk about operations with integers in this video. It's all base 10 too, so we've already done all the operations with the natural numbers. So you know how to add 3 plus 4, so on and so forth, but integers also incorporate or include the negative numbers. So we haven't talked about how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide with negative numbers yet. So that's what this video is hopefully going to talk about. I guess I need a drink already. Got my trusty Gatorade. So, let's see. There are a couple different situations, or at least a few different situations. We could have two integers that are positive. We could add those. So we're going to talk about addition first. That's why I put addition first inside the parentheses. So we're going to talk about addition first. We already talked about how to do this. We've talked about this a few weeks ago, how to add two natural numbers. So obviously the answer is 8, and you can check it on your calculator. It's 8. How did we do that though? Is there a way to do it? Like, first of all, you should know your addition facts, meaning any one-digit number added to any other one-digit number. You should just memorize that. But if you didn't know how to do it or can't remember how to do it, one way is you can use a number line. So I don't need any negative numbers here because they're all positive. Okay, so 3 means everything usually starts at 0, so you're going to say, well, I have 3, so I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. Now I'm here. Then I'm going to add 5 to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's how you got the 3 plus 5 with 8. So you can just use a number line. This is going to be important when we do the negative numbers. Okay, so another situation you could have is you could have the number that looks smaller be the negative number, and then the bigger number, the bigger looking number, the one with the greatest magnitude. We haven't talked about absolute value, but most of you, or all of you, probably know what it is. If you don't look at the sign of this number, if you don't look at the sign of -3, it's just 3. This one, if you don't look at the sign of +5, it's 5. So, it's still +5, I guess you could say. So this is 3, the magnitude or absolute value is 3, this is 5. So this one has the smaller magnitude. So the smaller magnitude one can be negative. Well, what you can do is just use a number line there too. Now I want to include Well, you're not really going to need negative numbers on this number line, but I'm going to pretend like I don't know that. So, how I did it before, I said, well, you're going to start at 3, so I went, well, here we're starting at -3, so I could have put -3 on here, but one thing, if you know much about math, hopefully you do if you want to be a math teacher, addition is commutative. So you could rewrite that to be 5 plus -3. So I can start at 5. I can say, well, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to add -3. Well, when you add +3 to something, or +5, positive means go to the right. Negative means go to the left. So I'm going to go to the left 3. 1, 2, 3. So 5 plus -3 is +2. One of the other situations you can have, and I'm going to erase some stuff here. You can pause the video if you want to look at that, or obviously you can watch the video as many times as you want. I know a lot of you will probably want to watch the video 0 times, but hopefully somebody will watch. So you could have the number with the greater magnitude be the negative number. Now it's the same. You do it the same way. You make a number line. Here I'm going to put a lot of negative numbers, like -7. Guess I probably don't need to go farther than that. So, same thing I did before. I could either change this to 3 plus -5 or leave it like that. Since I made enough negative numbers, I can leave it like that. And I can say, well, first I'm going to start at -5. And then I'm going to add 3, +3. So remember, adding positive means to go to the right. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So you have -2. Okay, so there's only one other real situation, is where both the numbers are negative. So let's see if, yep, I have room. I'm just using the same numbers, 5 and 3, for everything. One thing you can do for this is you can just ignore the sign if they're both negative. You can say 5 plus 3. So you already know that 5 plus 3 is 8. So what you do is you write 8. But then since they're both negative, this is going to be -2. And I mean -2 as in T-O-O, not -2. Not -2. No. Negative also. I should use the word also. So yeah, -5 plus -3 equals -8. This was -2. This is -8, not -2. It's negative also. So there's another way I like to talk about adding integers like this. I think they talk about it, at least in the 6th edition of the textbook. Let's use the same numbers, 5, and let's use -3 here. 5 plus -3. So hopefully I do have different colored markers, but hopefully I can find them. Okay. So for negative numbers, I'm going to use what are called counters. Oh, okay, this marker's not very good. But. So for the negative numbers, I'm going to use a red one. So these are counters, like these little round circles. And then for positive ones, I'm going to use black. So I made 5 black ones, I have 3 red ones. Whenever you have, I'm going to use a different color to cross them out. I'm going to use green. Whenever you have a matching pair, you can cross them out. By matching, I know you're probably going to say they're not matching. One's black and one's red. Whenever you have 2 of the different corresponding colors, you can cross them out. I guess that's a weird way to put it, but so here we have one. So I can cross all those out, and you're left with 2 black ones. Well, remember, black is positive. So we have 2 positive. In other words, the answer is positive 2. You don't have to put a positive sign in front of it when it's positive, just like how you don't have to write a 1 exponent if it's just 2 to the first power. So that's another way you can do it. And if you look, so remember what I said, you can cross them out if you have 2, once you have 1 of one color and 1 of the other color, you can eliminate them. Well, what if we had -5 plus -3? Well, remember I said negative is red, so we have 5 red ones and 3 red ones. Well, we don't have any opposite pairs. I guess that's a good thing to say. When you have a pair of opposites, you can cross them out. Well, we don't have any opposites, so we don't cross anything out. We just count up how many things we have, and we have 8, and they're negative. So it's, remember, because red's negative. So that's another way to do it without a number line. Might be easier. Obviously, if you have a question like -26 plus 20, you're probably not going to write them all out. But this is just to show people what happens. In smaller examples, to show things like this work. Okay. So that was addition. I think I can actually talk about subtraction now too, because subtraction is probably the easiest one of the operations to talk about, because I like these videos to be under 15 minutes, or if they go over 15 minutes, not to go over too much. Subtraction is actually pretty easy to talk about, because let's use the same basic numbers here. So usually if you have like minus and negative, you put the negative number in parentheses. It's not really needed, but it just makes it look better. So this is -5 minus -3. Well, the reason why this is relatively easy is because you can always change a subtraction problem to an addition problem just by changing this to addition. So get rid of the minus sign and put an addition sign. And then whatever number comes after it, you negate it. And by negate, I mean, if it's negative, you make it positive. If it's positive, you make it negative. So let's look. This becomes -5 plus 3. So we've already done this problem. We already know how to do that. You could draw the number line and do it. You could use counters. There's also the way to do it where you, if one's negative and one's positive, you ignore the signs and just say 5 minus 3. And then because the one with the greater magnitudes, the negative one, it'll be -2. So 5 minus 3 is 2, but then you change it to the negative. Once you get good at doing that, you'll see little tricks like that. So you won't have to draw a number line, or you won't have to make the counters. So that's why subtraction's easy. Not easy, but once you know how to do addition, which, you know, that took a little bit of explaining, then you know how to do this too, because you can change any subtraction problem into an addition problem. So in the next video, I'll talk about multiplication and division.